frustrated to me. It has to do with protecting consumers' rights to know what they're putting in their bodies. Simple as that. If you're going to put in something in your body, you really have a right to know what's in those products. And to illustrate this, I brought a few products to compare. I brought a Pepsi and a Coke, and regardless of whether you're the new generation or the real thing, you do have a right to know what's in the product that you prefer. One of these products is made with added mercury. The other is not. I brought a couple of cans of tuna, and as I look at these cans, on the label, they indicate that it's got omega-3 fatty acids that are good for me, and might be good for my heart. There's footnotes in there to indicate that they might not be, but I think that they might be. This particular package of tuna has an entire map of the human body with all sorts of organs selected, saying how it might be healthy for me. None of these indicate that there's mercury in the packaging. And what frustrates me is every time I go to the store and I'm looking at tuna, I happen to know that one of the tunas, it's either chunk light or albacore, has less than a third of the mercury of the other tuna. And so as I'm thinking of what to put on my tuna sandwich, and I'm really indifferent to, I can't distinguish the flavor that much, I'd like to have the one that has less mercury in it. But I can't make that choice because we haven't labeled the products. Last product I want to mention out of this category is this one here that advertises it as zero trans fats. Now this is an interesting example of how we've made a labeling law that manufacturers turned into a positive. They flipped it. So we require products to indicate not only that there's fat in their product, but what kind of fat, how much fat, whether it's saturated or unsaturated fat, whether it's trans fat. And when we started requiring people to indicate that there was trans fat, there was a move toward innovating healthier products, and then using that as a marketing advantage, that their product is actually healthier because it doesn't have those trans fats in it. Now, none of these products are considered hazardous substances, despite what my wife might argue. and none of these would actually be affected by the bill directly. Nor would this product, which I don't eat, but I actually require, it's legally required that it says that there's mercury in this product. What my bill says, very simply, is if there is so much of a toxic substance, be it lead, mercury, or some other dangerous poison, if there's so much concentration of that product in there that it's hazardous by law, then tell the consumer before they consume that product that it's hazardous. Now, one more point I have to make is this bill comes with a fiscal note. And I don't need a fiscal note. I will have an amendment prepared to remove the fiscal cost for this bill. The goals of the bill can be accomplished without added spending. So I'll hope that you'll adopt this language and move the bill along. I stand ready for any questions.
Thank you very much. Senator Henniker.
Thank you. Senator Oemig, do you know what the USDA mercury level is that they say is safe or unsafe? What's the level?
So you said the USDA. I'm not sure if it's actually the USDA. It's more likely the EPA. And the EPA has set numerous levels. They're very careful in their language not to say that there's a safe level of mercury. They do create something called a reference dose. And the reference dose is based upon a certain kind of mercury and per body weight, per consumption, per day, actually per week.
And what is that number?
I'll have someone send it to you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. You said it's some high fructose corn syrup. Is mercury being added to that, or is it a natural occurrence in that product?
It's added during the manufacturing. You should have some handouts that I sent along. And basically what happens is that in the manufacturing of this product, they add mercury as, I suspect, it's a catalyzing agent or some such thing. There are cleaner ways to do it, which is why all the high fructose corn syrups don't have the added mercury in there.
And lastly, Mr. Chair, if I may, remember the Alvar scare devastated the apple industry. I'm concerned this may have some of the same impacts. Thank you.
I appreciate that. And so again, I've worked with a lot of folks on this bill. A lot of people had input. They said, well, we can't possibly label it because then we might not have room for the picture. Or we shouldn't possibly tell people because they'd be confused. And so in this compromise, I've excluded all these products that have added mercury in them unless they're eaten, injected, or worn close to the body. And the amount of toxin is so high. It's so high that we don't even allow you to throw it in the garbage. It's a hazardous waste and it has to be contained. So it'd be difficult to argue that a hazardous product, so hazardous that you can't throw it in a normal garbage stream, would be a silly scare to people.
Senator Ranker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator White, thank you very much for bringing this bill forward. You've given us an example of some of the ones that would not be included in your bill, maybe not by name brand, but generic idea of what may be included in the bill.
Absolutely, thanks for the question. So the kinds of products that would qualify under this bill would be the mercury-containing amalgams that are used in dental care. Some of those dental products still use this. And it's actually important to note, I think, there might also, another example might be a class of chemotherapy product that would have, maybe the chair would know what kinds of medicines would have radioactive substance in them that might be considered hazardous. What's interesting about these products is, I as a consumer, if I'm at my doctor's office, and he says, you know, here's 2 products that I can treat you with. This one's hazardous, and I have to tell you that this one's not hazardous, and I think they're both equally, reasonably well treat your condition. I'm pretty much going to choose the non-toxic product every time. If, on the other hand, he says, you have a really serious condition, and I got one product for you, and it's got these hazards in it, and I just want you to know so you can make an informed choice, I'm probably going to go with the hazardous product because I want to protect the effects of those health effects. And so that's what this bill simply seeks to do.